Hi, it's APYS Talks, a series of interviews where we share key insights of blockchain industry. My name is Milena. I'm a Chief Product Officer at APYSwap Foundation. Today, we are talking about security and taking into account the latest hack, which was for $600 million. This topic is quite actual. And today we invited a community lead at HAPI. He's known as Jambo in HAPI community, and HAPI is a blockchain company that makes blockchain projects more secure. Okay, so hi Jambo, we're so happy to welcome you here today. And I guess we will start you introducing yourself.
Great. So basically my name is certainly not Jambo, but that's the common nickname that our community uses to refer to me. So yeah, I think we will stick with that for now. And basically I tackle community relations and PR, and also I write all of the materials for HAPI.
Okay,
that's the basic rundown, basically, yeah.
I see. Okay, so today we're talking about security, and a very interesting question is, do you know a total amount of money that was stolen for the whole history of blockchain?
Yeah, I think we have conducted a small research, in-house research on that. And basically, I think it's around, from the 2017, it's around, I think 20 billion around that. So that's pretty staggering numbers. And that's what we are about and why we are here and why we are aiming at rectifying the issues currently plaguing the cryptocurrency market.
Yeah, I see the numbers.
Directly, yeah, not directly preventing hacking, but indirectly improving cryptocurrency market as a whole.
Yeah, I see. So could you please explain in very simple terms what HAPI is?
Simple terms, great. Basically, HAPI, you can imagine HAPI to be like a security network. So basically, you have one central core. This core is the protocol itself. So let's say you want to integrate HAPI into SEX, central exchange. Mm-hmm. So what would you do is you get smart contracts, embed them into the SEX or DEX for that matter, and basically it will track and add to the database the malicious and illicit addresses. So it's really, on the surface, it's really quite simple. It's when you get into the details and in depth into the technology and you try to basically flesh that out, the problem starts to arise. I think we will talk about that later.
Okay, I see. So could you list the most common mistakes that projects do when creating their products?
To my mind and to the research that I've read, the most common mistakes and basically the flaws manifest themselves mostly in the smart contracts. So basically, let's say you're a DeFi project and you're creating a dApp, let's say on Ethereum. Mm-hmm. The problem commonly is exactly when coding the smart contracts itself. So I think there is a notion to basically give enough educational material to the developers so that we can avoid these kind of negligence. To that also can be added the common mistake, also social engineering. And what I mean by that is that, let's say you have a dev or a team within this group company, let's say crypto company, and they tend to be, I hate to use the word negligence, but that's basically what it is. They either leak the data on the, let's say, private keys or in public, and that results in a lot of untoward events. So I see two very crucial points that I think need to be rectified in order for us to get more adoption in general.
Yeah.
These are basically education for developers to avoid common mistakes, and of course less negligence and more awareness in general.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, it's something that we can't prevent, and create a protocol that will make sure that devs do their work right and don't leave their best phrases anywhere. So, okay, we have a lot of different types of dApps and centralized applications as well. We read that HAPI helps a lot for centralized exchanges, but also there are different types like farmings, lending protocols, decentralized exchanges, and other dApps. Are there any specific practices that are useful to know for all these different types, or they're more general and only the code issue or language issue?
I suppose for a general user, it will be great to delineate basically the commonality between them is the same. So I wouldn't really segregate aspects of, let's say, lending protocol from the sex exchange because the pathways of how hackers can attack or can be subjected to adversarial attacks is basically the same. So I would look into that through the lens of generally making the security layer better, and it doesn't matter whether you are a lending protocol or a liquidity provider, whatever. The problem that I see is common currently is the problem with the liquidity, and that hackers can basically have gain access to the liquidity fairly easily. So that's the problem. I think we need to make their lives basically a little bit more, a little bit less convenient. dare I say, and basically that's what HAPI is about.
Yeah, I see. Also, we read an article where HAPI explains the Polynetwork hack. And could you explain, shortly, why this hack was possible and how the company could prevent it?
Coincidentally, that's the article I have written. So
nice. Yes.
I can give you a small overview. Basically, I think the Polynetwork hack was mostly the same negligence that we talked about earlier. So I think there is no a fundamental issue within a Polynetwork itself. Again, it boils down to the fact that either the private keys were shared or it was an in-house kind of deal where let's say a developer or someone in the team for some reason leaked something that he or she shouldn't have leaked in the first place. So I think that's mostly either, again, a smart contract flaw or something that could have been prevented if there was less negligence. That's my view. There is also a conspiracy side to that it actually was all rigged and it was basically used as a marketing pitch or scheme. So there is also that, but I think we don't need to go into that kind of stuff without having any concrete evidence of that even happening. So yeah, something like that.
Yeah, but I think it is always important to remember for regular users that it probably every hack maybe is for a reason. Okay, so even we started to talk about.
It wouldn't be surprising to me personally that it was a marketing scheme, but okay, let's not go into.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, so we started to talk about regular users. Maybe we, will discuss maybe 3 top measures that every regular user should take to make sure that he keeps, transfers, invests his or her assets safely.
I suppose we can start with the due diligence when investing in any project. It's really crucial to make due diligence beforehand. And what I mean by due diligence is basically take a more of a critical look at the project that you are, let's say, infatuated by, and take the stance of opposing sides. So let's say you have a project that you really like, but you should really think more critically and observe let's say the information they have on their website, or the general description of what they are doing. And as a investor, a crypto investor, token holder, I think you should pay this due diligence because in the end, it's money at stake. So yeah. How to defend yourself from investing in the untoward projects. I think the basics are having at least some description of the project itself. Let's say the not technical side, at least the basic outline of what they are trying to achieve, and from that you can, I think, deduce the viability of the project itself. So let's say we have a project that promises too much, and I think even with the naked eye, a user, even uninitiated user, can pretty clearly see that this is not achievable and probably is some kind of scheme to get money out of it. The second aspect I think that people should be wary about is community-driven tokens. This is, I think, the plague that is currently very prolific in the space. We have a lot of community-driven tokens, and they have sprouted from the idea, from the ease of access. On Ethereum, you can create any token in a matter of hours.
Seconds.
So
Seconds.
I mean, yeah, anyone can create a token, come up with a funny name like, I don't know, Doggy Quick Swap Fun Token, and basically create a website. And it also is really easy nowadays to create any website. And when you are looking at the websites that these Doggy tokens and other community-driven tokens have, it's really astonishing how their website looks better than ours. Yeah, that's a shame, but you should really avoid anything that has as its basically central figure, that figures centrally, the notion of community-driven. Also, you should be wary about the unlocked liquidity. This is also very, very crucial to avoid. And essentially, it means that the project owners can pull the rug from your feet really easily and at any time. Yeah, and third, the most common mistake that I see people make is randomly leaving their seed phrase without giving any attention to where they store it. So that's also crucial. Yeah.
Yeah, I see.
I mean, you shouldn't be leaving your seed phrase, I don't know, in your mom's house without.
Because mom can be a hacker as well.
Yeah, yeah, it's gonna happen. Yeah.
Yeah, I would probably add one more point from myself. It's just what I faced just yesterday. So sometimes they create websites that look real professional, as you said, but they ask you to claim the tokens that they airdropped you. But
Yeah.
when you do so, they ask you to approve, and you approve not for these tokens, but for other tokens on your wallets, and basically your money can be gone very easily. So yeah, I always ask people to read what they approve.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've seen another type of thing happening recently. Is basically people get in the chat in Telegram groups. A perpetrator writes types in the seed phrase of his wallet, sends a message. And naive people get into basically copy the seed phrase and get into the wallet. They see there is unimaginable amount of tokens, and wow, I can be rich, and that sort of stuff. And then they realize after they deposited for gas fees that there is a smart contract integrated, that the moment you transfer anything to that address, it gets basically pulled out. So yeah, that's unfortunate. Also, they can get quite innovative with their ideas. So you need to be on your guard every time.
Yeah. So no free money. I should remember about that.
That's the notion I think we all need to understand, that there is no such thing as free money.
Yeah, great. Oh, maybe talking about HAPI again. We saw on your website that HAPI is cross-chain. How you achieve this interoperability between the networks?
The mainstay of HAPI's operability lies in the bridge functionality. So we are grateful to Allbridge,
Yeah, one of our projects.
That they have provided us with the necessary tools to basically make HAPI available on the several blockchain networks, like I think Polygon, Solana, even Huobi EcoChain. And we are really grateful as it allows us to basically propagate our protocol to more projects built on the said blockchains.
Okay, get it. So HAPI allows exchanges, centralized exchanges, to block transaction requests from malicious addresses. How do you define that the address is suspicious?
Yeah, that's the hardest question that we had to find a solution to, because there is not really such a thing as a malicious address or a risky address in the blockchain itself. So every address in the blockchain, in the ledger, is address, and that's it. So what you need to make is basically a system, a kind of system that detects the historical data on the transactions before. So you can assess, let's say, a given address, that it has been related to this and that, and based on these data, on this information, you can make a qualitative assessment of the let's say probability or likelihood of this exact address to be involved in something in the future. So what we implement in HAPI is basically a tier-based system, reputational system. RSAP is copyrighted. It's a joke. It's not. Basically, it's a reputational system that has tiers of risk. So let's say you have a risk from tier 0 to tier 5. Tier 0 means that a user in question basically interacts within a blockchain like a civil user. So he or she is not involved in any, let's say, one of the risk factors is I think it's money laundering, and it's basically when a particular address has been involved in a large transactional activity with the big amounts of funds or tokens. So yeah, the system doesn't really address doesn't really appoint a title to this address on the basis only of him or her being involved in the transaction of big amounts, but it basically a compounding nature to that. So if the similar things happens again, then we can assume that these address can be potentially malicious, or it has something illicit to that. For that matter, after we establish that a given address can pose a risk, we can freeze, we can notify, let's say, a SEX that, guys, you need to freeze this address because it can possibly harm your exchange. So they do the freezing, the actual act on freezing. Our task is to notify SEX. So yeah, it's configurable. We can also, I think, freeze the address, but the idea of HAPI is to be autonomous and to be observer and not an actuator of the verdict itself. So that's the idea. So basically, in order to get to the bottom of whether the address is risky or not, we utilize RSAP and also machine learning. We can talk about machine learning, I think, later. Yeah.
Okay, I have an additional question here. So basically, HAPI provides a set of rules for deciding if the address is risky or not. And
yeah, that's one of the layers. The second layer is data provider. They give us the established database on the addresses. They also have their own algorithms on the detection of illicit addresses. And so there is this basically two-layer protection. So there is still a chance of us being not accurate in our assessment. But with these kind of two-layer factor aspect, I think we can minimize that.
Okay, so basically you provide like the first layer, then you work with the database, analyze it, and improve your decisions based on that. So it means that even though HAPI can be connected to different exchanges, but it will work a bit different for everyone because they have all their own set of rules.
Yeah. The idea of HAPI is to be as malleable, as adaptable as possible. So let's say a specific DeFi project can basically tune the HAPI protocol to the notions that they deem appropriate for their solution.
I see. Okay, clear. Yeah, and next we can talk about the machine learning in HAPI. What place does it take?
That's the hotly debated topic. Yeah, so basically machine learning is a very crucial part of the HAPI protocol for the reason that we talked about two layers of data provider and so on. So basically machine learning is like a middle layer of both of these. So what it helps us to do is basically parse and analyze data more thoroughly. The idea is that we use things like random forest algorithms and key neighbor to basically make a system, algorithmic system model that would recognize patterns. So let's say we have a data on the transactions this data is analyzed beforehand, so historical data on the past, let's say, fraudulent transactions, and based on that, the model learns on the specificities of the fraudulence, in essence. There is a problem, however, that fortunately there are not enough fraudulent transactions for a model to learn on. I mean, that's fortunately for people, but unfortunately for us, because we can really make a model that we don't have enough fraudulent transactions to make a model more operative. For that reason, we a bit simplified our machine learning in the way that basically it's a binary model. So there is only two potential risk factors. It can be either risky or non-risky. So there is 0 and 1. So the model doesn't really go into the details of what we discussed about tiers and so on. It simply does a job based on the 0 and 1. So yeah, for now, because we don't have enough data based on the fraudulent transactions and transactions in general, and we heavily rely on data providers for that, basically, yeah.
Okay, I see.
I see machine learning as more of prospect that we aim at achieving at some point, and currently it will be in the simplified form.
Yeah, I see. So it means that the more time passes, the more valuable your protocol will be. That's great.
Yeah, to that I can add also the fact that we want to get rid of the data provider in general, but again, we need a database, our own database, and it's really time consuming to achieve basically your proprietary database. So for now, we will be utilizing a data provider for that.
I see. Okay, so we have a little time, but I have one interesting global question. How do you see the future of privacy? Will it be owned by government, business, or a person?
I suppose currently in the contemporary digital world, I think more people are aware of the data breaches, and privacy concerns are becoming more of a hot and debated topic. So I see that more and more people basically migrate to the idea of decentralization. So we can see that happening in the DeFi by, let's say, navigating to the total value locked, or TVL, that we can see the curve actually going up of total value locked. So basically what it means is that more people are shifting into the DeFi instead of going to the central banks and storing their money there and gaining interest rates. I think that's in part, it might not even have to do with the centralized aspect for most people, and more to the better interest rates in DeFi currently. So in bank, you can get maybe 1% annual, and in DeFi currently it's minimum of 6% a year. So I mean, why wouldn't you? So I see the yes, there is more awareness around privacy, but also there is a gain to be made, a monetary value in the DeFi. So I suppose we can only go advance in this direction. Okay, I see. It's an honest answer. Yeah, I like it. I mean, I'm not a crypto maximalist or something like that, but I see decentralization and cryptocurrency as a way for people to basically ramify from the centralized equivalents. So I see both cohabitate in the one space. So I don't see, let's say, crypto edging out traditional finances. I see them cohabitate in one ecosystem.
Okay, I see. Okay, great. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, have good hodlers and users.
I can also say hi to the community. We are quite close there, so hi community.
Yeah, our communities are close. Sometimes they know our news from your community. So
yeah, we are still waiting on the all bridge tokenomics. Yeah, so I hope
it is coming very soon. Yeah,
that's what I say. Yeah.
yeah, nice.
So,
Okay, then.
bye.
Bye.